What's up, everybody? It's Dono. So I got a question essentially asking, why do people not always rhyme? And while there's a couple answers to this, I'm gonna get to a few reasons why you might not want to rhyme in one of your verses. So the question essentially was, I listen to all this music, but a lot of times people don't rhyme. So I'm gonna give you a couple different reasons that that might be the case, some things that you can do that doesn't involve rhyming that you can still write a verse with, and how you can use that effectively. The first thing that you gotta think about is that rhyming is just a tool. And while it's a pretty common convention to use rhyming throughout your verse, it's not something that's absolutely essential. As with any art form, you are able to kind of jump in and out of whatever tools you'd like to use. The first reason that you might not be rhyming is because you're using a lot of repetition. So this doesn't always sound the best, but on the other hand can be a lot more catchy because repetition is really good at drilling certain messages into your head and getting you to remember them. So occasionally if you hear rappers kind of rapping the same word or phrase with itself over and over, it may not be because they can't rhyme, but it could be because they want you to kind of pick up on the lyrics a little bit more and find it more catchy. Again, not really like a heavy lyrical feat, but repetition over rhyming is just one way that you can make the message stand out a little bit more. For those of you who aren't familiar with this, it sounds a little something like this. I'm untouchable, you're not. Don't talk to me. I'm the best you ever seen. Don't talk to me. We never met? Yeah, I know. Don't talk to me. Got my mind on other things. Don't talk to me. You most often are going to see something like this in a chorus where you're kind of just repeating this for the sake of repetition, basically using that as your poetic device, but it can sometimes sneak into verses as well. Now, the second reason that you might not want to use rhymes all the time in your verse is to actually throw people off, right? If people are listening to rap, they expect to hear a rhyme every other line at the end. They expect couplets at the very least. So by not rhyming, you can really force people's attention onto what you're saying. Now, obviously, to make this stand out and have impact and be meaningful, you need to come up with a line that has some other type of poetic device so that it has some strength. But otherwise, you can do this to really drag in their attention. So that's another reason you may not want to rhyme. One other thing I wanted to cover is that rhymes come in a series from very, very slanted to very, very perfect. So if you're not familiar with slant rhymes and how these different sounds match up, rappers may actually be rhyming more than they appear to be because they're using things other than perfect rhymes. That's just something I want to bring up if you're not familiar with it. If you're only looking for perfect rhymes, you may not hear as many as you want because slant rhymes can sound almost as good and have a lot more versatility. There's so many more things you can say when you slant rhyme. So that's another reason you may not hear perfect rhymes. Now, the last thing and the obvious thing is there's a lot of rappers out there who don't use a very high level of lyricism, right? Bottom line is they're not super great at doing a lot of rapping and metaphors and similes and all that kind of stuff. A lot of those rappers have really strong flow and really good beats, so they come across very musically instead of very lyrically. So it's just a different focus, a different priority for the music. So I'm not trying to pretend that everyone is capable of layering all these poetic techniques and everyone has the same level of lyricism, but there are a few reasons that you might not want to rhyme all the time. So I tried to highlight two of those, but there are a bunch of rappers out there that just don't have that strong of a grasp on poetic techniques or decide not to use them for whatever reason and usually end up focusing on other things. Personally, I'm very heavy on lyricism. Obviously, you guys have probably picked that up, but there are other options out there. That's all I've got for this video. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, topics you want me to cover, throw them down in the box below. I'll get to them as quick as possible. Beyond that, I've got a full 30-day how to rap course. I have a link to that down below. And I've got a website, rapbetter.com, where you can check out some more resources. That's it, and I'll see you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the videos, and if you have any questions, comments, or topics you want me to cover, leave them down in the box below and I'll get to them as soon as possible. See you next time.